If welcome to this video. So in this video, we are gonna be now covering how to build the advertorial with Lovable. Okay. So now from the previous video, we create the prompt in Claude for kind of like having the prompt ready to go into Lovable. So now what we're gonna be doing here is we're gonna be copying the actual prompt. Okay, just by clicking here where it says copy, and then we are gonna be kind of taking now into Lovable. So Lovable page. So is just going to look like this. Okay, so you're gonna have this section here where you're gonna be able to just put your prompt, okay, about your request. So the only thing that you need to do here is just coming in this section here and then paste your prompt. Okay, so here is the whole prompt. Okay, so what I like to do here is I like to just make sure that I'm not copying and paste everything below. So of course I am going to be deleting this. Okay, but then here, so actually I can take this from this, okay, or I just can keep it. So that's not something really huge there. And then everything is good. So now one thing that I suggest you to do, guys, is like read the prompt. Okay, so you can go always and read the prompt. So make sure that everything is online. Okay, so but if not and you just only copy and paste, it's okay. So later on you can make tweaks, you can make adjustments. Okay, from here is basically you're gonna be working with this tool like you work with ChatGPT. Okay, but just you are gonna be kind of like a sharing with the system what you are good, what is not good, what is still need works, or if you want to tweak something. Okay, like the way that you see kind of like how we working with Claw. Okay, when we were making kind of like some adjustments, so you are gonna be able to do it here. But now here is actually building the landing page. Okay, so now that we have the whole prompt here, so the next thing that we're going to be doing here is just requesting the prompt. Okay, just requesting the actual prompt here. Click, and now you're going to see Lovable starting to work on your project. Okay, which is creating the advertorial. So this process takes some time. Sometimes takes like 5 minutes. Sometimes takes 10 minutes. It depends. Okay, but this very first process it take a little bit long. Okay, and then just we need to wait here. Okay, so but you're gonna see all the process that is taken by all the updates based on what Lovable is building at the moment. Okay, okay, this is a large detailed request. Okay, so you see there. Set up the system and fonts and build that virtual page and styles. So we just need to wait here. So one thing that I like to do in the meantime that I'm waiting this for be ready is I like to go and start basically building the images, okay, at this point here. So I like to start building these images, okay, that I'm going to be using for my final advertorial. So remember, here are the images reference, okay. So and I'm going to show you guys like how I do it here. So basically, I just take every single of those reference, okay, and then I start working with Gemini. So you see, so for example here, one of the reference lifestyle images, men at work, morning routine, focus on energize, 16 by 9 after radio. Okay, in this case, this is the actual radio that I need. Okay, sometimes you need square radio, sometimes yeah. So they used to be a square or like for a landscape like this. But you see, simple prompt, nothing crazy. Okay, so here's another one. I need a lifestyle image, men at a clean desk, focus professional setting. Okay, here it is. So here is the product. So you see, so the product hero image is the bottom bottle, clean white surface, morning light, 16 by 9 aspect radio. And here is the image. Okay, here is the other image. Okay, so you see, guys, so simple. Okay, I'm not. We don't want to be really getting really crazy around creating this. Okay, always provide an image of your product, and this way you're gonna be able to, insert it into your final images. So, and here is another image that I need, which is the morning routine shot. Okay, so as you see here, all of those images. Okay, here it is. Okay, yeah. So you see all the reference, product hero image, lifestyle image. Okay, So now what happened is like I have every single image that I need. And then now I'm going back here, and then here you see Lovable is already has already created the actual advertorial. So you see, guys. So now that I have it created, okay. So what I have to do, I have to start replacing the different things that I need. I want to make so sure that everything is in place. I'm gonna make sure that everything is good. Okay. So now from here, what you need to know is like in this section here is where you can start asking Lovable to make modifications to your actual uh, advertorial the way it is, right? So for example, here, so one thing that I want to do is I want to kind of like make sure that this section is the image, right? The hero image. So look at this, is a product hero image, okay, by the reference that I get from Claude. So what I do is like you see this button that it says visual edits. So you click there, okay, and now you can start kind of like selecting every single thing into your advertorial or into your page. You see, so I can make modifications to each of them. So now I click here, okay, and then here is a block of is a block here that is kind of like called by div. Okay, I don't know too much about like this type of coding, but I know how this works, so that way I can start making the modifications. So for example, what I like to do is I like to kind of select the whole section on this, making sure that I'm selecting the whole section because I want to replace this with my first image, right? So then what I do is I bring the image that I want to have there, which is the hero image of the product. Okay, I'm gonna be taking, this is the actual, let me see. Yeah, this is with the morning light. Okay, so click here again. I'm going to take the image with the morning light. Okay, and I'm gonna say replace this um, with my image. Okay, and then request. So the mobile is going to start working here. Okay, and now it replace the image. Okay, so this is the very first image that I'm gonna have in my advertorial. Okay, perfect. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start replacing every single image. Okay, so for example, this image is lifestyle, manual work, morning routine, focus and energize. Okay, so then I'm going to be kind of like taking this image. Okay, so I'm adding the image that I'm going to be using and visuals or visual edits. I'm going to be selecting this one here and replace this with my image. Make sure the block is 16 by 9 to match my image size. Okay, so then request. So you see, just start basically kind of like a requesting what you need. Okay, it's pretty simple when you start working like this. So the only thing is like you need to wait. Okay, until it's ready. Sometimes it takes longer. Sometimes it takes a little bit more. So if you see that it's taking too much, kind of like you have been waiting like I don't know 5 or 10 minutes and you haven't made any change. So then go ahead and refresh. Okay, so but as you see here, so either it's already work, it already work, and now I have the second image uh, of my advertorial. Perfect. So and you see that it's in the right size. You see. So everything that you ask is what you're gonna get here. Okay. So here is another image too. So you see, one thing that I like to do is I like to kind of like turn off the visual edit here because I have the history of the chat. So as I'm going to be requesting kind of like a pretty the same thing. So I like to take the previous prompt, you see, and then I do visual edit again. I click on this section here. So you see, you need to be careful because sometimes you click here and then you think that you select everything and then what you are changing is only this. So if you have multiple elements in one block, so then make sure that you are selecting the whole block there, okay? So I'm gonna paste the prompt here. Okay, I'm gonna replace this image and make sure that the block is 16 by 19 to match my image size. So in this case, is the man at a clean desk focus on professional setting. Okay, which in this case, okay, I actually think that okay, so it's okay. So I'm gonna be kind of like using it like this one here, and then request. Okay, perfect. So now we have our third image here. Okay, so I need another image here. It's like a product flat lay Byron bottle axle visible clean with surface premium fill. Okay, so which in this case is going to be the image. So I'm gonna be turning this off. I'm gonna be taking this. Okay, I copy this, oh, copy this, paste here. Okay, so now that I paste, I'm gonna be doing visual edits. I'm gonna be making sure that I'm selecting the right block, and now I'm gonna be providing the other image that is suggested here. Okay, which is this one here that I have. Request. Okay, so here is the image of the product. Okay, perfect. So now, what else? Okay, so here it says individual results may vary, testimonials are placeholders, replace it with verified customers. So for example, these things that are coming from the pro and from the previous one, right? So when I have something like that, that I know that I'm not going to have these, okay? So I'm going to do visual edits here, okay? And then I can click there, and then I can replace that with something else. So maybe I'm going to take this out, right? And then I just click save. Okay, so individual results may vary or whatever you can put there. Okay, it's okay. So now we have another image here with the morning routine shot. Okay, so I'm gonna click on this one. I already have the same prompt, replace this image, make sure that the block is the 1619 and match with the size. Okay, so I'm gonna be taking the image for this. So you saw, guys, so just I create all of these images with the AI, okay, making sure that it's aligned with my product, making sure that it's aligned with what is here in the reference of the image, and now I'm making sure that I'm adding it on my actual advertorial. So then look at this, okay? So looking nice, it's working on adding the image here. So let me just move on to see if I see something else. My audience verdict after 30 days. Okay, so then here is the end. Okay, this is good to happen. Okay, so the app encountered an error. So you saw that. So when something like that happened to you guys, so don't worry because the thing is like this is part of the process of what Lovable is doing inside, but everything is get fixed by them by Lovable. Okay, so if you see that error come up, you if it's something deeper, you may see something around like says so I'm trying to fix, so it's the same lovable machine working on trying to fix the issue that it's having. So look at all of these. Okay, so here we have our final image and then the end. So perfect. So now that we have it like that, okay, so looking good. So one thing that you need to see here is like in this section here, you can have the preview for the different devices. So this is the desktop preview. If you click here, you're gonna have the tablet preview. And if you click here, you're gonna have the phone preview, cell phone preview. You see? So then, like in this way, so I like to always make sure that everything looks good, everything looks clean. So if there is something that is not looking good, or something that it shouldn't be like that, or something that you want to adjust, okay, so you just can come here the same way. Okay, so for example, let's say that you want to adjust, I don't know what. Let's say that you want to have this here, like this section here, you want to adjust it. So you do visual edit here, and then you adjust it on the way that you want to do it. Okay, so um, whatever you want to do is kind of the same process here, visual edits, and then let's say that you want to remove this paragraph here, so then you just remove it here. Or if you want to make a tweak on the text, so then you just make a tweak the text on here. Okay, so it's just like going through the actual page and then making any change. Okay, so you can also ask here right away here. So you see, like for example, you can ask, hey, so I want to clean. I want to make the button, I don't know, a different color, or maybe you want to make the text on the bottom shorter, one line, So something that you want to do in whatever uh, place of your page, so you can do it just by typing here and asking Lovable to do it for you. Okay, so one thing that you can also do here is like, for example, if we come to our inspiration, so you see that the actual header is like a more aligned to the left, right? And if we go through the others, so they used to go like that way. Okay, so for example, here is aligned to the left, or this one here too is also like the headline and everything is like aligned to the left. So we have a picture here, image headshot like this, with the name. So if we want to have it like that, so one thing that I like to do is like, for example, I can take a screenshot of this, okay, and then I can bring the screenshot into Lovable. Okay, you bring it into Lovable here in this section, and then you do you can do the visual edit and then select the section where you want to apply this edit, okay? Or you just can kind of like a type with a specification. So for example, I can type like I want you to make the framework of the headline looks like this. Okay, so the headline should be aligned to the left. Okay, the font should be slightly smaller. Okay, and the publisher. Okay, the author byline should also include a headshot. Okay, I think that is like the way, like this way. Yeah, a headshot. So you provide the inspiration, you provide what you are trying to do there, okay? And then you just request. So then now Lovable is working on that. It's going to generate an image of like the person and everything, okay? So it creates everything. So you can use the one that they use or the one that they provide, or you can just find a new one that match better with your look at the changes there, so that match better with your actual audience. Okay, so everything of that can be done here. Okay, so now here it updated, so you see, and so now it looks more like that. So also you have this section here on the top, okay, like view history, and you can see like how the way that it was before. You see, this is how it was before. You see, and this is how it is now. So how this is good, because thing is like, for example, if you make a modification or an adjustment and you don't like it, or it's not like the way that you are looking for, so you can always can go back here, to the actual change that you did, the last change, or the last adjustment, and then you can restore that version. Okay, you click there here and then restore the version, and then it kind of like a redo version, a redo of this. So this is the tool here. Remember, it's in the history section. So now we are good. So now that it's like this, let me just, oh yeah. So here it is. So now we have kind of like good a better shape of our advertorial. Okay, so now that I'm like this, perfect. So the next thing that I'm gonna be doing is I'm gonna be making sure that every one of my buttons is sending people to the right place, which is my store URL. So for example, I'm gonna be taking just this example here. Okay, so now then here, what we're going to do is we're going to just type something like this. When you want to send people to a specific page, it's just by like coming here and then type something like make every bottom, okay, I think that is like this, to send people to this URL, okay? And then here you're gonna be making sure that you are typing the URL of your product, okay? This is an example here, okay? I'm taking this one, but you just want to make sure that it's sending to the right product, okay? So then just make every button to send people to this URL. Just by just requesting that, so Lovable is going to start working on making that. Okay, perfect. So now it's ready. All call to actions buttons now link to this website, okay, which is your landing page, okay, your product page, sorry. So you want to send people to the product page where they can find the product. So now, one thing that you can do that to make sure that everything is working around that is basically you can click where it says share here, and then you can go and click where it says share preview, okay? Then copy the preview link. So with your incognito, you paste the link that you copy there, and then you see that it's going to open, and then you're going to see how it looks like now. So now you test the buttons. So when I click here, you see that it's sending to the page where I want. Say when you click here, it's sending to the page. So I'm go to the process, and then I make sure that it's sending people to the right place where I want to make sure that is people landing. Okay. So now here are all my buttons and you see that everything is working. Perfect. So now that I see that everything is working, so the next thing that I do here, okay, oh no, here, okay, is basically I can do publish, okay. So I check that also the view here as mobile looks good, okay, everything looks perfect. Okay, remember that if you want to change this, the headshot, okay, so you can do the same. Visual edit, you select the headshot, here is the actual picture, okay, so that I may need to refresh here to just make sure that looks good. Okay, I'm going to just do it like this again. Visual edits, select this one here. Okay. Well, it's not having a preview, but you just need to go and select the one that you want. Okay, so of course you need to have it ready in case that you want to change it. Okay, or you can just leave it like that. It's up to you. So my thing is like just to show you that you can kind of like edit every single thing. You see every single thing. So once you're done, you do visual edits and then you go back to the conversation. So now that everything is looking good here with the advertorial, so the next thing that I like to do here is just hit publish, okay? And then by clicking publish here, so Lovable is going to create a domain for you, okay? This is a general domain that as we used to kind of like a test multiple pages, you don't want to worry about too much here that it says Lovable. So the only thing that I suggest you to do is like just clicking on the little pencil, and then you can do something like, for example, your store name, like for example, shop Byron, okay? And I can do something like this, shop Byron now, or should buy them, something like that. Okay, I click, then check. You see, it's available, it's good. Okay, if it's not available, it show you like in red that it's not available. So then you click what it says continue. You keep it public. Okay, then it's going to have all this information. Okay, you don't need to do anything here. Everything is filled out by the AI, and then continue. So now that everything is green and good to go, ready to publish, then you click publish here. So now your advertorial is publishing, okay, so it should be almost done here. Perfect, now it's published. So then, for example, one thing that you can do is that you can go back where it says publish, and then now here, you can click on the actual domain, and then you will see that now with that domain, okay, that is Lovable app, you have access and everyone has access to your advertorial. Okay, so look at this. This was our inspiration, okay, and this is our advertorial. Perfect. So now this is the process, guys, for creating the advertorial. If I can just walk you through here, a couple of things. It's just here you have the button for the preview. Okay, you have the design button here, which is the same thing that visual edits here. Okay, just for you to kind of like a come and look at the design. Okay, design view. You can have the code view, and here in the next video, I'm going to be explaining you a couple of things for you to make sure that Facebook is tracking the events that happen here, the clicks, the views that happen here on your product page, okay, on in this case on your landing page, which is really important too because we want to make sure that Facebook understands the intention of people in our product, right, in our pre-lander too. So then here I'm going to be explaining you a couple of things, but then you see that here is where you have access to your actual code on your advertorial, okay, on your pre-lander. So you can always click here, see everything, but just kind of like you can keep, you can be here in this section, okay, which is the main section that we used to be. Okay, so one more thing is like you need to know that when you publish your uh, landing page, okay, or your advertorial or your listicle, okay, from Lovable, you're gonna have this tag here, okay, so you can remove it just by clicking here on the advertorial that you're creating, and then you go through the section that it says settings. When you go to settings, you come here where it says high level batch, and that's it. Okay, so now when you refresh there, you will see that you don't have it there anymore. Okay, so that's good because it doesn't have that specific thing telling you that this is coming from Lovable. Okay, so um, that's good. So now everything looks good. So this is ready to go. Okay, so this is the process, guys, for you creating your advertorials. If you're creating listicles, if you're creating advertorials, it's going to be the same process. Okay, so if you can, we come back here. Here is the step, the 7-step build process. Okay, so we are ready with Lovable here. So now the next thing that we're going to be doing is we are going to be adding the tracking for Facebook to track your events on your advertorial. See you in the next video.